compete with a white piece of paper. You want to have a surface that already has marks on it, because then it frees you up to make whatever other kind of marks you want. When I teach, I try to teach my students to relax, to enjoy what they're doing, to have a good time with it, to not worry about mistakes. Thank God art is accommodating and one can make mistakes and it still can be art. Unlike some of the other medias where if you make a mistake, you've had it. You're wrong. In art, you can make a mistake and be right. I love it. So teaching them to relax and enjoy the media, and that mistakes can be very wonderful, and they're part of life, and it doesn't make you wrong at all. In African cosmology, most of the art evokes the human form. Even in their furniture, you'll have a chair that is actually a woman sitting. So all of their art, their pottery, everything evokes the human form. So they knew something about the sacredness and the specialness of human and human relations and human interactions. So to me, adding the face to the body, all of a sudden, it's instant life. They're made of the handles of all those plastic milk jugs. So you're looking at 8 milk jug handles on each skeletons, and then of course these are the other parts of the milk jug, like the bottom. Because I don't use the bottoms or the handles. So they're all the parts of the milk jug that I don't use, which is the bottom, because it's too hard to sew, and the handles, and again, because you can't sew. So it's really, how can I say it? It's probably insane. I mean, I use every single part of the milk jug. But to me, it's going back to Africa, because like when they would kill an animal or whatever, every single part they would use, the hooves, the hair. There was no waste. So it's like I've taken a milk jug and I've like used every single part of it now. So I feel complete, right? But one thing I got called on by an African-American woman up here, she said, why when you want to represent African-Americans or African or third world people, you're going to use junk? Junk waste from European society. Why you want to represent us with junk? But then again, it goes back to the fact that trying to see beauty in something that has been trashed, or trying to see the intrinsic value in something that has been wasted. And I told her, I said I don't think the ancestors would mind being represented by these materials, because this is not saying that we are junk. This is saying that we have value regardless of what has happened to us, that there is intrinsic value within us. To me, man has to make art. He has to create. So I do it as simply a positive affirmation of my existence, and hopefully sharing it to teach other people to affirm themselves in that way. Because it's really accessible. Gosh, so many things in life are inaccessible. I mean, let art be at least the one thing that anyone can do.
Funding for this presentation of the Spotlight Series has been made possible by the King County Arts Commission and by annual financial support from viewers like you.
People come in and they say, what is this painting about? It happens all the time. And that question is really what it's about. I take a lot of trips, and I go to places that interest me, But it could be Mississippi, it could be Louisiana, or it could be Mongolia. And I take my camera and photograph, I would say in a 2-week trip I might take 80 rolls. I start from photographs, and then I'll usually make a few sketches, just very cursory sort of things, just to indicate to me what a composition could be. And then I'll make a watercolor, sometimes a charcoal or something. And then that becomes part of the translation into a painting. So when I'm working on the piece, I'm looking at the drawings, at the watercolors, and at the photographs, and they all become reference points. I like to remember what it felt like, if it was hot, if it was dark. I take as many photographs as I need to make an image. It may be just one, but I still feel that by combining the different photographs, I can make an image that I can't with a camera. I start trying to understand what the color keys might be, what the darkness might be, what the light might be. I think the light initially did come from theatrical lighting. For one thing, I worked in television with sets, and I was aware of what light does to change color. So I began to see that was a tool I could use to make people feel the way I was feeling. I think when you travel, things become hyper-real, especially when you're seeing things for the first time. It raises a lot of questions. Why do Indian women still wear saris and the men wear Western clothing? I'm fascinated by all that, how things are changing with CNN and Nike shoes, what our culture is putting out, and how other cultures are adapting it, wanting it, and yet maybe losing some of the best parts of their culture. What I like to do is to get contemporary people living in older cultures and sort of seeing what the relationship is. And maybe it's almost nothing. But when I begin a painting, I usually really don't know too much what it's about. I just know that it's, there are some elements there that I'm drawn to. And I try not to define it too much, actually, before I begin, because it's a mystery. To understand the painting might be to say that we understand life, which I think most of us agree we don't.
Funding for this presentation of the Spotlight Series has been made possible by the King County Arts Commission and by annual financial support from viewers like you.
You're watching KYVE Yakima, television and then some.
This is PBS. According to television research, viewers, like you, are attracted to babies, puppies, and the word free, which is why we're using them to draw your attention to the federal government's free Consumer Information Catalog from, where else, Pueblo, Colorado. The catalog lists free and low-cost government publications on saving money, finding a job, educating your children, buying a home, getting federal benefits, staying healthy. Sorry, I thought I was losing you there for a second. Now, where were we? Oh, best of all, the Consumer Information Catalog is free, and so are many of the publications listed inside. To get your free Consumer Information Catalog, send your name and address to Catalog, Pueblo, Colorado, 81009. That address again, Catalog, Pueblo, Colorado, 81009.
I really welcome the public's comments and telling us what they want us to be doing, and it's part of the job.
How are you, Sidney?
Hi, Peter. Thanks for calling.
Well, you may not like it what happened.
Oh, well, that's part goes with it.
If you've got questions you'd like to ask the governor, here's the place. Live Wednesday, January 19th. And Governor Mike Lowry will be here to take your calls.
Join us for the 1994 Martin Luther King Jr. celebration. Here are some of the events that are scheduled.
Dr. King was a man who had a dream that all the races would be one day be equal.
All get together and act as one instead of fighting each other.
I have a chance to go up in the world.
To be as one, to get along, and to stop the violence, and just to be as one big family.
For additional information about the King celebration, call 457-2904.
Our planet's rainforests are burning. 96,000 acres are burned every day. Right now, you can join the National Arbor Day Foundation and support rainforest rescue to help stop the destruction. In the few seconds I've been talking, a forest the size of 3 city blocks went up in smoke. You better call now.
Sunday's programs on KYVE are made possible in part by a grant from Doan, Talbot, Simpson, Gibson, and Davis, attorneys serving the personal and business needs of Central Washington for over 40 years. Local acquisition and broadcast of Sunday night programs is made possible in part by R&R Construction, where one call does it all, serving the Yakima Valley since 1959. A portion of KYVE's production equipment is funded by a generous grant from Donald and Helen Jewett, a reflection of their continued support of art and education.
You're watching KYVE Yakima, television and then some.